Hi friends, Sean here again, and welcoming you all back for part 2 of our summer reading list. Now previously on Modem Futura, we shared some of our favorite books and related audio plays, with amazing titles like Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash, William Gibson's Neuromancer, Ian M. Banks' Surface Detail and Player of Games, and of course the legendary Douglas Adams and his Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but explored through the radio scripts and the audio of those radio plays. While also finally in that first part, switching gears to dig into Cory Doctorow's enshittification. So without further ado, the moment you've undoubtedly been waiting for. So join me, Sean Leahy, and my co-host extraordinaire, Andrew Maynard, for the thrilling conclusion of the Modem Futura Summer Reading Special. We hope you enjoy.
So for my next one, I'm actually going to make a connection. It's got a bit of a weird and bit of a controversial connection between enshittification and my next book. So for my next book, I needed a Terry Pratchett here. So I have a couple of staples: Douglas Adams, Ian Banks, and Terry Pratchett. So I've actually got two. I've got one main one, but I thought I'd throw a bonus one in.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, because I think last time I brought a Terry Pratchett. Well, I brought I did Omens last time.
You did? Yes. Good Omens. Yes.
Yep.
So I was spoiled for choice here because I read so many good ones, and especially Terry Pratchett's later books before he sadly passed away, really dealt with sharp social issues in an incredibly good way. But I thought I'd pick out Unseen Academicals.
Oh, I don't know this one.
And the reason I brought it, it's a long time since I've read it, and I must confess, I cannot remember the full storyline here. But that's not important. The important thing is how it pokes deep fun at academics and universities. And anybody who has had anything to do with a university will cringe as they see themselves.
Oh, that's awesome.
And of course, the connection with enshittification is this question of where is the true value proposition in academia and universities? Because I think increasingly people are beginning to ask that question. Are universities just self-sustaining? Are they telling us that they're essential just so that they remain essential, or is there real value there?
Yeah.
I'm hoping there is some value because we're both employed by university.
At least it has to last for at least another 20 years or so.
And Terry Pratchett doesn't actually get that deep, but he does every weirdness that you have ever come across with faculty members, with
the nutty
teachers,
the nutty professor sort of behaviors,
with instructors.
I love it.
This is a great summer read.
That's awesome. Because I don't know this one. I'm definitely gonna have to pick this one up. Or I'm headed to the airport tomorrow, so I have to see if I can. Amazon it overnight.
It's a good one. Yeah. So that was my main Terry Pratchett, but I want to throw in a bonus, which I'd be amazed if you've ever come across. Have you ever come across the Bromeliad trilogy?
No.
So it's a series of 3 books. They're actually kids' books, but in the tradition of the best kids' books, they're age agnostic. And these are beautiful books about the sort of it's basically a civilization of small people living on Earth. And basically sort of the challenges that they face and journeys they have to go on. And again, it's a long time since I've read these, but it's I go back to time again. So it is suitable for young kids to read. Well, it is sophisticated enough for an adult to read.
That is really cool because actually, so my oldest, Freddie, been on the podcast, if you people for deep cut for those of you who know, he's been looking for a new book series. And I keep trying. It's one of those things, it's not going to work because I keep suggesting it. I'm like, please read A Wrinkle in Time. And he's like, no, not interested. And I'm like,
You ought to try them out on these. So just 3 of them.
Yeah.
And they're easy and they're fast, but they're beautiful.
Oh, written. That's awesome. No, super cool. Well, this is a great idea because this is a multi-generational summer book. So that's fantastic. I had no idea about this trilogy. And that's fantastic.
Yeah. That's a good one and
cool.
often overlooked.
Super cool. Okay. Let's see. I have a couple like bonusy things I can always throw in. I do want to share. I'm going to completely break what we've the pattern if there is one. So this is a book that I got that is, I had a special, this is a prized book, also because it's very difficult to get.
Okay.
The original printing was in 1960s, I believe. You can still get it now, but you have to, unless something has changed in the last year or so, it's only available through essentially the Henri Cartier-Bresson library in Paris that you have to send away for and have to deal with. Oh, look at that. The Foundation Henri Cartier-Bresson, little thank you note written by the staff there. But this is one of my all-time favorite photography books. It is The Decisive Moment by all the photographic works and essays of Henri Cartier-Bresson, who's one of my absolute all-time favorite photographers
and an icon in the field.
And so his work is amazing. And basically, for those who are not familiar with who he is, I would highly recommend checking. You've probably seen some of his work, even if you don't know who he is. But his photographic works essentially spans the Depression era all the way through sort of like the early 60s and late 50s and stuff like that.
So I can sort of hold it up. So
you can open it up as,
but yes.
It's not terribly expensive. It's just hard to get.
Right. So, yes. Yeah. But you can see if I hold it up to the main camera.
Yeah.
It's basically a book of his photos.
Yep. It's a book of his photos and all of his little, and he, not all images, but many of them have like little essays that he wrote sort of as he was either writing or assembling the collection. But if you are a photography geek or you know one in your life, this is a great book. Because it's a wonderful thing just to leaf through, because the photographic reprints in here are really well done.
Yep.
But also it takes you back to a different time, a different era. And for me, I always really like when I'm feeling a little starved for some of that creative energy that photography does for me. This is a great source to, even if I'm like, I don't have time, or it's like, I don't have time to actually grab my camera and go out. I can sit in a chair, I can sit with this, and the juices start flowing. And it's just neat to sort of transport, because the other piece that I think is really fascinating around not only his work, but also work of many other photographers at this time, especially with the famous image, and I'll see if I can, while I'm talking, if I can find it, of The Decisive Moment, is it also represents a very distinct technological shift.
Right.
So The Decisive Moment basically was originated at, because this was the time at when basically photography or cameras were first technologically advanced enough to be portable.
Yes.
When you think about something like the 35 millimeter film, this was still medium format, but
it was really sort of laying the groundwork for street photography.
Yep, absolutely. And so the idea behind it is, he captured this famous image titled The Decisive Moment, in which a construction worker was leaping from a ladder in a rainy construction site outside of Paris. And the shutter speed was fast enough where he caught the image just before the worker's heel were to strike the water.
Right,
so it was one of these first, here, this is it. I don't know. I'll hold it up. I'll just let that go. Just put it there. I'll kind of hold up in my frame there. But this is it. This is The Decisive Moment. But it's a beautiful image that I can personally, it's annoying for people who know me because I can spend a day on that one photograph talking about the power that is captured in there, the repetition that's captured in there, the symbology that's captured in there, the technological moment that is captured by the entire image, the movement, the time, the era, all these pieces. It just goes on and on and on. It is an absolute master class in
Well, that's the rest of the podcast gone. It's just going to be a lesson.
And the problem is there's other books to talk about, but I'm like, all I want to do is talk about this
right.
But yeah, so I thought I would break the mold and share this.
But it's funny you should bring this up, because it ties into this idea of the analog, because here there's an intentionality with how he took photos and actually how he developed and processed them as well. The whole story was not just the point at which the shutter snapped, but it's how you actually take that negative and transform it into a print by actually highlighting the bits that you want to tell the story, the narrative.
Yep, absolutely. And it's a phenomenal book. And I will give a plug for the Henri Cartier-Bresson Foundation, which is just at henricartierbresson.org. So if you want a copy of that, you can go there. But also because I had gone on this big kick and I had went back and I had repurchased all these Ansel Adams books and all this kind of stuff. But it was one of those things where where I've noticed, with the exception of Corey's book, I'm like, all mine are going backwards towards analog-y stuff.
Right. But also it's fascinating because I've just sort of broken out sort of some of my early teen negatives.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've started going around sort of again, scanning them in and playing with them. And there's something special. I mean, this is all old black and white film. And I was just a young teenager at the time. This is the early 1980s, late 1970s. So I wasn't really a great photographer. But the fact that you can take these, and first of all, they're full of memories of place, and the fact that you can actually sort of then begin to crop and sort of pull out and tell a story from what you took. Then.
I mean, again, not to divert this into another photography, but again, the power that is there, and even with digital, you can still do this as well. But again, to me, it's one of those things that there's something very, very personal about every photograph, not a picture, but a photograph that is made.
Yes.
Which, because you are within whatever the content or the subject matter is, right? Completely doesn't matter in a certain sense, but what you're looking at is that is also, not only is it to kind of chop a quote from Mark Rebound, right? That you're not just savoring life at a, one 1/100th of a second. That's also a piece of you. From that same time, that in that same blink of a shutter,
right? You're part of that story.
That is, that's one of those kind of, I'll butcher it, but it's kind of one of these cheesy sayings, which with every photograph, there's always two subjects. There's the subject that's in the photograph and the subject who took it.
Yes.
Right. And so with every image, there's a piece of the photographer there. And even if it's your own stuff or someone going through photos of a family member who's no longer around, it's a piece of them that it transcends differently than a note or a journal or other heirlooms. And so it's a special thing. And so it's fun, always fun for me to revisit.
No, that was a great one. So, okay. So I've got two more left.
Okay.
With my next one, we're not going quite as far back in time as this, but we are still back in time.
I think that's the cutest to play the back in time. We don't have the licensing for that, so I'll have to sing it terribly.
So this one, I must confess, this is part of a duo of books, and I wanted the first one, but I could not find it. I'm not quite. I think it might be back at the office rather than here at home.
We're not allowed to get into at the moment.
We've been banned from the office for the summer. But this is Connie Willis. Connie Willis, a fantastic science fiction writer, very different from a lot of the mainstream science fiction. But she wrote two books, Blackout and All Clear. This is the second one, All Clear. And the conceit is, and she has a couple of books around this, about sort of time travel from I think it's 2060 or so. It's sometime in the future. But time travel not in the case of it being a technological wizardry, but in the case of the time travel coming from this sort of archaic academic group that have this ability to go back in time and study. And in this particular case, in these two books, these people go back to the time of the Blitz, the London Blitz. So the book is, or the pair of books is really a beautiful exploration of the Blitz in London. From the perspective of these people that go back from the future to live lives in those sort of early 1940s, especially sort of based around St. Paul's Cathedral and the whole sort of attempts to prevent St. Paul's Cathedral being burnt down in the Blitz. And just the detail and the storytelling and the very light touch science fiction, this is really a historic novel with a beautiful sci-fi overlay on it. Just a beautiful piece of writing. And reading.
Very cool. Because I don't know this. I don't know. I have not read. I know of the author, but I have never read these. But And the first one, what was the first one called?
I think it's called Blackout.
Blackout?
I wish I had it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yes. So Blackout obviously sort of is the first part sort of in the Blitz, and All Clear is sort of as things begin to sort of clear.
Right. And Blackout literally was black out all the light so that nobody could target your building.
That is exactly it. So yes, in the Blitz, you had the complete blackout. So the German bombers couldn't see anything, couldn't see their targets. But then sort of there was this massive push to protect landmarks like St. Paul's Cathedral. You had the fire watch where people were there ready to go out on the roof and douse any fires that might start.
Wow, very cool. This is great. So I'm getting a stack of things to read myself. Okay, since you were talking about time travel, I don't know, I did want to touch really brief. I'll just plug it. We can deep dive into this later. We were doing a Futures Improv a while back, and one of the sort of origins of a story was this French film called La Jetée.
Yes.
And I read it and I was like, I don't know this. And after we had recorded, I went and looked it up and then fell down a rabbit hole with it and was in absolute awe of this.
I remember you talking about it.
Yes. And so I'm just going to bring it up now for people. If the people want to have a fun go, it's available fully online through, you can, if you literally, it's the French word for like the pier, La Jetée. And if you look it up, you'll easily be able to find links to it on Vimeo and stuff like that.
So you can actually watch the whole
and it's
movie.
it's originally in French but subtitled in English. It's a film from 1962. It's a short film. I think the whole thing is like
without going back.
Yeah, it's like 16, 17 minutes, something that's under 20 minutes. But what's remarkable about it is a story about time travel. Right. And in a really fascinating way, the film itself was comprised of just still black and white photographs with a compelling narrative that plays over the top with soundtrack. It's very simple in terms of, this is something like a student film, like from a technical perspective, anybody could really do.
Yep.
But what I found so compelling about it is it basically tells a story that you can see this as being a nugget that so many other filmmakers and authors and storytellers have used to help them build out worlds that revolve around time travel. Because it basically is, I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but basically it tells a time loop, right? So something happens and the whole thing goes around and it basically becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that they have seen part of their, in some ways it's kind of like Arrival. Right. Except, like, you see the ink circles and now you know the future, but same kind of concept where suddenly it unlocks this whole thing. But it's incredibly well done. And when I'm watching it, I'm thinking, come on, whatever. But the power of it was how much that story lingered long after, to the point where, for me, one of the most entertaining parts of whether it's a book, a movie, or a TV show is how much conversation it generates after you're done with it. Right. And that little tiny film, I'm not joking. We can devote an entire episode and then some just about it, because it just pulls on your mind. It excites so much of the sort of curiosity. And, even though if you're like one of those pedantic time traveler buffs that is really like, well, you can't have this because it's all causal and blah, blah, blah. Like you might get frustrated with it, but you can see again, kind of like the way Snow Crash, the way Neuromancer were these origins of so much that we consume today. That one, again, from these films and from storytellers that deal with time travel, it was just phenomenal.
Interesting. So, and of course, sort of just speaking as an educator with both of us, this is what you aspire to. It's not the students passing the exams and getting the grades. It's that putting a nugget in their head that they cannot shake off, and it grows into something over time, which is uniquely theirs, but you have actually catalyzed something that affects their whole understanding of themselves, the world they're in, and what they can achieve in it. You can never measure that. This is the frustrating thing. This doesn't go on the forms that tell you whether you're a good teacher or not.
And again, it's one of those things that's weirdly like, over my own journey of consuming time travel-esque media, none of them have resonated the way that short film did.
Very interesting.
It's very, so highly recommend for people. And it's,
so I'm looking out for a whole 3-credit course just on this film now.
Oh, we could time travel, right? It's like, we don't need a time traveling hot tub. We need time traveling like something else. I don't know. Time traveling podcast series or something. But incredibly awesome. Okay. So looking at time, we should probably hurry up. Do you have any more?
I have one more.
All right.
So this is the true light summer read and a complete break from the science fiction. So this is the relaxing by the pool read.
Oh, okay. I like these. What do we got?
And so this is, before I show you it, so have you watched Slow Horses on Apple TV?
Oh, love it. A huge fan. We can hit end on this podcast and start a whole other one.
So this is in the series of the original books that spawned that. So this is, I think, the fourth one, maybe fifth. I'm losing track. So this just happens to be the one that I'm reading at the moment, Spook Street.
Yes.
But the first one in the series is Slow Horses. Yeah. And I've got to say, this was a good colleague at really quite a serious intellectual colleague that put me on to this. And he sort of said it's a bit of a guilty read, but it's fun. I can't put them down.
Yeah. Oh, fan! I would have to check those because I absolutely love the television series.
Yes,
it's it's one of when a new season comes out. I mean, it's like get excited time.
And so if anybody hasn't actually watched the series or read the books, I mean, it is based around UK's MI5, Military Intelligence 5, but the Slough House and the Slow Horses are basically the rejects where they can't really fire them, so they just sequester them away where they can't do any harm.
Yes,
all sort of overlooked by this guy Lamb, who is the most despicable, awful character who has ever been depicted on TV.
Oh my God!
And you love him, but you know you shouldn't because he is so bad.
Oh yeah.
And the sort of you have both this sort of mix of comedy and seriousness and action, and the books deliver. I think actually they deliver better than the TV series. The TV series is really good.
Yes.
The books, even if you've watched the series, you can read the books and get a whole fresh perspective from them.
I cannot wait because that's going to be awesome because I absolutely love it. And if you ever thought Gary Oldman was good in his other stuff, because he does. He plays Jackson Lamb, the crusty, gross, brilliant old spy who, and even in this TV show, I mean, that's the way that they tease out the depth and tortured past.
But the funny thing is, so the traditional way of doing this is you have this awful character where there's a redemption arc where you suddenly realize this is why they're so bad because something awful happened. And there's a little bit of that. But actually the bottom line is he's just a really nasty piece of work.
He's just a jerk, you know? But no, it's so good. It's got a brilliant cast. I love it. And it is, and one thing that is frustrating is also the way that they film it for the TV show. Is very BBC-esque where it's like 6 episodes and then, you know what I mean? You're like, no, come on, that's not nearly enough.
Well, now you can pick up the books.
Oh, I cannot wait.
So that is definitely great sort of flight or by the pool.
That's awesome. Okay. So, to kind of build on that, I'll give 2 quick ones.
Okay.
One, so this is not anything new, but there is a new version, and that is again where there's an upcoming, I forget when it releases, but a new hash of the Harry Potter series coming on HBO.
Yes.
There's, that's coming sometime in the fall, I believe, is the first one. But in preparation for that, if you enjoy the books, if you enjoy the audiobooks, they have a brand, so Audible, which is available, I believe it's available worldwide, has a incredible, book series that is all done in a full cast, dramatized book reading. So it's not a shortened version or a adaptation at all. It's the real book, but it is done tremendously with audio engineering. So backgrounds and sound effects.
Right.
It is
a true radio play type.
It is radio play-esque and at its finest with a lot of with a lot of production value and stuff like that in it, and a big star-studded cast and things like that. So Hugh Laurie is Dumbledore. Right. You have people like James McAvoy is in there, Simon Pegg. So a lot of these like real brilliant actors are also put in there to give voice to a lot of these beloved characters. And so it's a great read. It's a great listen. I shouldn't say a read. It's a listen.
Yes.
But a real good one. And then the other one, speaking of Apple TV ones, is this. I did give this last year, so this is my repeat. This is my cop out.
Okay,
is also to revisit the Silo.
I knew
series.
You were going to go to Silo
because season 3, I believe, of the TV show is coming out.
It's queued up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's. I wrote it down somewhere. July 3rd. And so, but yeah, so that picks up again, kind of where in line of that books where. I was pleased to see that in the trailer for the upcoming season, they're now taking that concept of the books where now it's stepping back. Okay. So it's how did this, because, the first couple seasons are focused on inside the silo and this,
so
it's
this
very
is then leading up to
because that's what the books do. The books drop you, you start off there, you crack, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you crack open these really interesting plot twists. And then the books also then jump back in time to help explain how did we end up in silos in the first place and stuff like that. So, so that's coming out soon this summer. And that's a great, the TV show itself is
on your list.
Is a great one. So I would put that in there. And then the last two things I want to do is also, because it is a book series, I do want to plug two books that are from Friends and Family editions.
Yes.
Right. So The Simulation Hypothesis by our
Riz Virk,
by Riz Virk, our friend and colleague of the podcast,
who also, going all the way back to Snow Crash, his dissertation was on the influence of books like Snow Crash on Silicon Valley.
Yep, so absolutely.
Perfect circle
all the way in. And then let's see, what other book can we find?
I have no idea.
This one hanging out back here by yours truly, AI and the Art of Being Human by Jeffrey Abbott and Andrew Maynard.
I'm so glad that you're talking about this, not me, because I do think it is actually seriously a really important book for this time. But of course, I can't say that because I wrote it.
You can't say it, but I will say it. It is an amazing read. Again, and there's also a pocket edition that's perfect for poolside or putting in your backpack or whatever, beach bag. But I think the best part of this book is that it basically contains 21 tools of thinking about how to leverage and use AI in your context, in your life, in your world,
and importantly,
regardless of
it's not a pro AI.
No, it's not a booster book. It's not a doomer book.
If you are a person who is really struggling with whether you should even touch AI or whether it's evil, this book, I believe, is as helpful and as useful as if you are an AI sort of booster who just wants to suck up everything. It is designed to be agnostic as to where you're approaching 100%. It, but it's still a guide to navigating this age of AI.
100%. And it's amazing. And the tools also, I mean, again, just even practically about thinking about how you might basically handle artificial intelligence in your professional, personal context, and giving you the tools to help you understand why you are feeling the way you are feeling, what to do about it, how to make sure care and intentionality stay at the forefront of those decisions. Especially as we've been talking, and there's a growing visceral backlash growing on AI, is also understanding this. I mean, this, again, you wrote this book last summer with Jeff. And again, even today, it couldn't be more topical of understanding how to navigate this crazy landscape that is changing. And that pendulum is starting to vibrate and swing kind of wildly.
It really is. So I'm hoping more and more people find it useful. On the other hand, if you really don't want to read that, read something like that instead. Or the simulation hypothesis, or go back in time with Snow Crash and Neuromancer, or you know what? It's not even on my list, but give Jurassic Park a read if you've never read it. Yes, we ought to rename this show because Jurassic Park comes up so many times.
I know. Well, it's funny too because I was telling Andrew before we started recording, we had recently done a local trivia around Jurassic Park, and the questions I got wrong are burning in my brain, which I got. So let me ask you this: this is one I got wrong. Was the subtitle for the original movie trailer. So it was Jurassic Park. And do you remember? Because I know I've seen it 100 times and I could not remember that it was an experience 65 million years in the making.
Now you've said it, I do remember that.
And it burns me up that I got that wrong because I was like, I don't know, an extinction event? I just choked. I choked on that trivia question.
I'm not a movie buff. I just use them to teach from.
Oh, well, goodness. Well, if you enjoyed any of the books that were on our list, please share them with your friends, but also you might as well share Modem Futura. Make sure you follow, rate, review, whatever your podcast allows. And while you're there, you might as well leave us a rating and a review so we can read them because we love reading them. And also it helps the big machine algorithms out there that are influenced by Snow Crash, Neuromancer, and the list. So
actually, what you should really do is go on to Apple Podcasts and just tell us in the reviews what books would be on your list.
Yeah, tell us what books are on your summer reading list, or do you disagree with one of our books?
Vehemently.
Yes, as long as it's not my photography book, all other ones are fair game. But yeah, and then of course you can also go to our website to sign up.
Yeah, that's modemfutura.com/sign up. As simple as that. Give us your email and we will just send you a weekly reminder, nothing more.
Yep, and then that reminder will make you actually subscribe.
Hopefully, yes. Either way, you'll get a nudge when we have a new episode out.
Well, fantastic. Andrew, thanks again so much, because I love doing our summer reading list, because I end up walking away with so many great books.
Well, same here.
Because I often find myself struggling. I'm like, what should I read next? What should I read next? What should I read next? So this is great. So wonderful. And we wish everybody out there a wonderful summer vacation and have fun reading wherever you go, whether that's at home or to the beach or wherever. wherever your travels take you. We'll see everybody on the next episode of Modem Futura.
We'll see you then.
End transmission.